There was a study done in the UK, not very recently, but more recently, about stories that feature animals versus stories that feature people. And it was in relation to emotion and learning the moral of a story. But it found that children, when they heard stories about an animal versus when they heard stories that featured a person, it could be the same moral, like the moral of, being kind to others. Children were able to replicate and understand the story better when it was a person, right? Because kids are egocentric, so especially young children, so they can put themselves in that scenario. They can put themselves in that situation. They can act it out. They can see it happening for themselves. Whereas with animals, it's kind of like fairy tale, not really real. And so it's really important, again, to continue to find the books that show the world to our kids, but doing the things that we know everyone has to do. Everyone has to do math. Everyone has to learn about shapes. So why can't that be a Black character doing it? Why can't it be, an Asian child doing it? Why are all these things only reserved for certain kinds of people?
For animals who now we have our mental images of animals doing mathematical thinking, but we need to move on from that. So another thing that we've kind of touched on is the role of fiction. Often when we talk about early math books for children, we think about counting and concept books, but what about fiction books that portray emotions and experiences? How can they be a powerful way for kids to explore math?
I think often when children and families think about books that have math in them, they think about textbooks or word problems or these very sort of academic pieces. And the beauty of incorporating math into a story is that you really do sort of take it out of math class and put it into your backyard or into your kitchen or into your living room. You sort of really bring it home in a way. The power of story is so important, and it's such a way of connecting a child to the world around them in a way that perhaps a nonfiction piece might some narrative nonfiction does a really good job, but it's story is something that can really capture imagination, and sort of bringing math into that in a way just sort of makes it more of the everyday, which I think is really important. And it's a great way to use it in story time or in, getting math into your other subjects, making it more universal.
Yeah, I think the great thing about math, I think for me, especially in the younger grades, because the older grade math is not my strong suit, but still, is the ability for kids when they see these new concepts or learn these new concepts to be able to act them out and play around and make a story around them so that it becomes concrete. That's why we're big about manipulatives, right? So if we're saying, I have 3 cubes and I take one away, we want to put those cubes in front of the kid as we're talking about it. But what if we made a story with it, right? I think there's been studies that link, girls being able to retain information better as it relates to science and math when it was told as a story. And so being able to say like, okay, well, I have 3 houses, and then this doesn't work for this, but like one house moved away. How many houses are left? Whatever. But having them be able to tell a story around their thinking and processing helps them be able to hold on to that information a little bit longer and process it better. And then putting it into different scenarios, we do math here, and not as it exists in a block of a subject area of a time of your day, that it's throughout, it's interwoven, and we really have to be aware of that by telling these stories or acting them out or playing with math and not just regulating it to 1:30 to 2:00 every day.